Hello guys, today I'll be doing a ranking for the band Alice in Chains. Definitely a great band, definitely one of the best from that grunge era, and of course one of the best from the big four, at least in my opinion. I even like them more than Nirvana and Pearl Jam. I know some people put Nirvana at the way top, but not for me, to be honest. I mean, I do like Nirvana, but I like Alice in Chains a lot more personally, but Alice in Chains and Soundgarden are my favorites when it comes to grunge, but when it comes to what's my number one favorite, probably Alice in Chains, but when it comes to the singer, probably Chris Cornell, with Lane Staley in close second. But anyways, this ranking, of course, it's my personal ranking. You don't have to agree with it, but feel free to let me know your ranking in the comment section below. And also, we'll be going from worst to best, so let's go ahead and get started. At the bottom, I have the Devil Put Dinosaurs here. Pretty cool jewel case, by the way. But yeah, with this album, the album kind of drags for me sometimes, especially closer to the second half of the album for me. I mean, there's some solid stuff on here like Hollow and Voices and Stone. Those are good songs. I do like the singles on the album, but there are some songs on here, like especially again towards the second half, that kind of drag for me, and some of the songs are kind of maybe on the edge of being forgettable for me personally. But the album, it's not bad, but it's easily my least favorite. But next we got the album Black Gives Way to Blue. Some people really like the album. I'm towards the middle when it comes to this album. In between good people hating it and people liking it, I'm more towards the middle. But with this album, I really like All Secrets Known, Check My Brain, and A Looking in View. Those are probably my favorites on the album. And for the rest of the album, there's some good stuff on there, but some other tracks that kind of are just average for me personally, in my opinion. But the album, it's not bad, but it's never been one of my personal favorites though. But Looking in View is a really good song. But next in the ranking, I have the Sap EP. And yeah, I'm including the EPs, the Sap EP and the Jar of Flies EP. But yeah, Sap, decent EP. Not an EP that I return to a lot or anything, but I do like it though. I'd say I like the first two songs more than the last two songs. There are 4 songs on this EP, but yeah, Brother and Got Me Wrong are really good. But Right Turn and MI Inside, they're good, but might not have the greatest replay value. But again, I do like those songs too though. But yeah, Sap EP has to go right here in my ranking. And then we have the album Rainier Fog. I might get some looks or some interesting feedback from people for me putting this album above Sap, because this is an album that doesn't have Lane, of course, but I don't know. I think it's a really strong album. I mean, I really liked it when it came out. I think it's the best of the Duval era so far. The album has no filler. I think each song offers something that's interesting, or interesting enough to keep you interested in the song. Some of my favorites are the first 3 tracks, Maybe and So Far Under. Those are probably my favorites on the album, but All I Am is a really strong album closer. Not a song that I think to return to very often, but I think it's a pretty good song and one of the better songs from the second half of the album. But yeah, I think this album overall, again, is pretty strong. And then next in my ranking, I have the Selftitled album. Out of the main albums with Lane, this one's probably the weakest one, and I'm sure many people would probably agree. And this one sometimes is a cult favorite, maybe, at least from what I've seen. Some people say it's maybe the second favorite or something like that, but this album, it's pretty good. Kind of weird at times, but you can tell that they were kind of struggling a little bit at this time. But some of my favorites on the album are Grind, Sludge Factory, Heaven Beside You, Again. And I also really like Nothing Song. That's one of my favorites on the album, of course, and kind of underrated too. Same with Sludge Factory. And Frogs is pretty good too. A longer song if I remember correctly. But yeah, this album, kind of weird, kind of odd, but I also really like it though. And next we got the Jar of Flies EP. Definitely has some of the strongest material in my opinion. The first 4 songs especially, I think, are really good. Rotten Apple, Nutshell, I Stay Away, and No Excuses, all really good songs. The emotion you feel from Lane Staley's voice throughout some of these songs is just out of this world. I mean, the way he delivers certain lyrics, I mean, his voice, his vocal delivery was a part of what made him unique in this genre, and yeah, and also one of the reasons why he's one of the best too. But also the three songs after the first four, Whale and Wasp, Don't Follow and Swing on This, those are good songs. Maybe not some of their best work, but still pretty good songs though overall. But Nutshell is just so good, easily one of their best songs in my opinion. But yeah, Jarfly's an excellent EP. The next we got the album Dirt. Some people will put this at the top. Honestly, there was a time where it was at the top, but my mind changed recently. But the album, again, is really good, and of course, one of their best. It's a classic, of course. Some of my favorites are Them Bones, Damn That River, Rain When I Die, Down in the Hole, Rooster, and Wood. Those are probably some of my favorites on the album, but the album has really good deep tracks, though, like Junkhead and Rain When I Die. Those are both really good songs and some of my favorites outside of the singles. But yeah, overall, a pretty good album and definitely a classic. And with the album that's at the top, we got Facelift. Some people would maybe put this as their second favorite, or maybe even at the top, depending on who you ask, of course. But this album's definitely my favorite. And I believe it was the first Alice in Chains album that I heard in full, if I remember correctly. But I think the second half has some pretty cool gems on it, or hidden gems, however you want to put it. Like I Know Something About You and Put You Down. And Sunshine is really underrated. Maybe one of my favorite Alice in Chains songs, to be honest. And also one of my favorites on the album. But the album starts really strong with those first 6 songs especially. And some of those songs, of course, being fan favorites like We Die Young, Man in the Box, and Love Hate Love. Of course, some of their best songs, obviously, but I can't remember. It's kind of an underrated song, but I also think it's maybe one of my favorites. If it's not a favorite, that's maybe an honorable mention, but yeah, this album I think is pretty strong, and definitely a strong start for this band too. But yeah, definitely my favorite. Anyways, that's my ranking of these guys' albums. Let me know your ranking. Let me know some of your favorite songs or albums from this band and all that good stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching. Leave a comment and like, subscribe. Have a nice day, and take care.